There's several great features about the Elna 782. One thing Janome has done on this machine is they've added the ability for you to use the Accurate Stitch Regulator, or ASR as it's called. This is an optional item for the 782, but this is what it looks like. It comes in its own little case, but you're going to get an attachment. This attachment right here is going to connect to the machine. There is a connector on the back of the machine, and there's going to be a laser shoot down onto your fabric. It's highly sensitive. It senses any movement of your fabric. So the faster you move your fabric, the faster the machine's going to automatically speed up. You slow down, it'll slow down. And it's going to allow you to get the exact same stitches length apart when you're doing your free motion quilting or stippling. This particular item also comes with the ruler foot. You're going to get the Echo quilting foot, and you're going to get the open toe. All that comes with the ASR. So that's one thing you want to look at when you're thinking about buying a machine. If you're into quilting or think, hey, eventually I want to get into doing that, these are real handy about being able to go into a quilting frame. Because I have 11 inches from a needle to the inside of the sewing arm. It's a spacious area, but it's ideal for adding a quilting frame at a later date, or you're just going to have plenty of room to hold onto your fabric and touch it and move it around. Now, 782 will come with an extension table to help support the weight of your material, and the extension table will go over here. It goes all the way around the free arm of the machine, so you have plenty of support to the left of the garment and also the throat space here. 782 is going to have 400 built-in sewing and utility stitches. We'll go over those in detail in just a few minutes, but they're all located right here, and I have a 5-inch high-definition screen. It's a color screen. I can change the background of the screen to get it set to my eyes. I can adjust my width and my length with these knobs here. Everything is laid out really nice and easy on the 782, so I don't have to push a lot of buttons to get to where I'm wanting to go. I can pull up my stitch, and when I change my width of the stitch or the length, it will change it on screen for me, and it is true to size. That will be the actual size of the stitch that you're working with. So no more having to worry about test swatches, doing test runs. You're going to know exactly how it's going to look on your fabric. So you can change that background color to match my fabric, and you get an idea of how that stitch will work. It's really handy when you're working with a lot of the decorative stitches and the quilting stitches on this machine. Machine is extremely easy to thread. I have the horizontal spool pin. You will have a place to put a vertical spool pin if you want to do twin needle sewing. It's going to have the top winding bobbin right here for me. But on my threading, everything's going to be channeled for me all the way down to my needle. The nice thing about this, they've improved the needle threader system on the 782 with a no-fail needle threader system. Now I have the top drop-in bobbin. I can see my bobbin at any given time. It's extremely easy to thread the bobbin on the 782, and I'm going to have extra high lift under my presser foot, but I've got a 7-point feed dog system. There's actually 7 places that the feed dogs are touching my fabric. For a lightweight material, that's extremely important. The more surface area I have touching my fabric, the better off I'm going to be. It's going to keep my fabric flat while that needle's penetrating the garment, so it reduces puckering. For thicker or heavier materials, if you're doing multi-layers, that's really handy too, because the more surface area touching that fabric, it's just going to help it feed through. Now you will get the AccuFeed system that comes with the 782. This is the more improved system. It's also, I call it a walking foot on steroids, because basically you're going to be able to remove the soles of this foot. There's different soles you can get for doing a 1/4 inch, a stitch in the ditch, open toe. All those are going to be on our website. We can help you, because Ken's will carry all the accessories, all the parts for the 782. That's included as well. I really like how the accessory tray opens up, so I can look down and see all my attachments and keep everything nice and neat and organized. There's no more screws to worry about. I can actually, when I get ready to change my needle plate, and you will get a straight stitch needle plate with this machine. There are sensors built in that knows exactly what needle plate I have on the machine. So if I try to do a decorative stitch or a quilting stitch or any other stitch besides straight stitch, the machine will beep at me and let me know, hey, I have the straight stitch plate on the machine. Even when I have my straight stitch plate on, there's a button I can push that'll move the needle over for doing 1/4 inch seams to get that seam allowance perfect every time. All of my buttons are right here in front of me. They're nice and handy laid out in a straight row. I got the built-in scissors, going to snip that thread for me. Anytime that my beck and call, just push that, it's going to snip my bobbin and top thread for me. I do have the pivot feature built in on the 782. Anytime I want to raise the presser foot up, I can use the button. I do have the traditional lever in the back, or I can use the knee lift. All that's included with the 782. I will have the needle up, needle down. There's times I want my needle to stop in the fabric. If I'm turning a corner, doing applique work, and then there's times I want the needle to stop out of the fabric. You will get the extra large foot control that'll come with the 782, but you don't have to use it if you don't want to, because I have start stop right here. I do also have the auto lock feature. Auto lock will tie that stitch off for me underneath, so it's hidden and out of the way. You'll probably never use your reverse any longer because you have auto lock, but you do have reverse, the traditional reverse, built in on this machine. Now let's zoom in. I want to show you a little bit about the stitches that's on the 782. The 782 has 400 stitches built in. I'm going to have everything categorized for me. If you'll notice on the screen, we have utility, buttonhole, applique, the cross stitch, heirloom category, all my quilting stitches, more modes. There's 3 modes of quilting stitches on this machine. Because of the ASR, they've dedicated a lot more of those stitches, and those quilting stitches can be used for other applications as well. I have my decorative satin stitches, bridge stitches. Then I get into the decorative stitches. There's a lot of different decorative stitches, and you can combine these stitches to make decorative borders and things of that nature. We have 4 different fonts built in on the 782, and then we also have a professional mode. That's when we have the straight stitch plate on the machine. That machine, like I said, it does have that sensor built in. It's going to know exactly what needle plate that I have on it. So Janome has you covered on this Elna 782 with all the different stitches that are built in. We can change the length and the width all the way up to 9 millimeters, and that is same as the top of the line machines doing that 9 millimeter stitch width. Now we're going to zoom in and show you the 5-inch high definition screen on the 782. One of the great things about the 782 is the way this screen is laid out. The computer board, it makes this really easy for us to access all the different parts of this machine without having to push 30 buttons to get there. We have home, we can always go back home. And we have other tabs on the right hand side. I can even go in to the hard drive of the machine. I can save a decorative border on the machine. There's a lock on it if you have little ones around. You just don't want someone getting into your machine accidentally, or accidentally hitting the start stop button or pressing the foot control or something like that. We can lock that machine so no one can access it, and you have to push that button to get back into the machine. That's a real nice safety feature. But on the front of the machine, I will have, this is our main menu, and I've got the machine on a zigzag right now. As we mentioned earlier, as soon as I change my stitch width or move down, the machine is automatically going to show me on the screen the width of the stitch. I'm going to know exactly what my width is, and I'm going to know what my length is. It recommends the correct presser foot. Now, all the presser feet will have letters indented into them, so we can know exactly which presser foot that we need to have on the machine, so we make sure we don't have a foot on there that the needle may hit, and get the correct foot for the sewing application we're doing. Now, everything is tabbed up here. All my utility stitches are tabbed right here. I can go and hit this button, and it's going to show me an entire glossary of all the machines. So if I'm going by theme, let's say today I want to do applique, I can hit this button, it's going to pull up all the different applique stitches. And this is really neat to have on the machine, so I don't have to fast forward through the entire 400 stitch count to get to the particular stitch that I'm wanting. You have a lot of different styles of appliques on this machine, so you can play with that and get the right one to meet your needs. And then if I wanted, let's say, go into the different quilting stitches, I have all that built in. Now, I do have the alphabet fonts that are built in. I have symbols built in. I can do it in upper and lower case. So if I'm making a quilt label or a garment tag, I can do that in different fonts. These are really nice to put on a dress shirt or something of that nature. The 782 does have the elongation feature. It also has the tapering feature as well on some of the decorative stitches. And then there's a sewing advisor built in. Maybe if you get stumped or you have a question, maybe we're closed, you can always pull that up. But Ken Sewing Center is going to be here to help you for the life that you own the 782. We've got technicians here that can help you with any kind of question you have. I have educators that can help you and show you how to operate the machine. Just be sitting in front of your machine. We can show you exactly what button you need to push to get to where you want to go. If I want to go ahead and change some of the settings, we'll get out of this and we're going to go back home. And I want to go into the hard drive of the machine. Let's say that I want to quiet the machine down. I can do that here. Change the screen brightness. I can go from metrics to inches instead of push of a button. There's 5 full pages of settings that I can change. And don't worry, you're not going to do anything to erase anything off of the hard drive. We can change, the time setting for it to go off, just like a screensaver on your computer. If we have more than one function, we can go in and do some things for utility mode, and it has different languages built in. So there's a lot of things that we can do to customize this machine to meet your needs and for you to be happy with what you're doing at a particular time. Here I'm going to show you just how tough this machine is and what types of material you can sew without having to worry about adjusting your tensions. Here I've got some denim. I'm going to do 8 layers of that. I'm going to show you the extra high lift on the presser foot. I'm able to easily get my material underneath that, and that's nice to have, especially when you're quilting or working with these thicker materials like multi-layers of denim. This machine is going to easily be able to handle this with no problem whatsoever. I can go from the 8 layers of denim all the way down to a cotton material. The top drop-in bobbin allows me to crawl down onto my material without compromising the stitch quality at all or the tension at all. And that's a nice feature to have that you don't get on just every machine that's out there. And now I'm going to do the stretch material. Speed it up to show just how fast we can go. I'll hit that tie off. It's going to automatically tie the stitch off for me underneath. I'm going to hit my scissor to snip that thread. And the machine automatically will raise up that presser foot. So I went from extremely heavy to a cotton to a stretch material. Stitches are perfect on that. Ken Sewing Center is your authorized Elna dealer. We carry all models, all parts, and accessories. You will get our premium support package with any machine that you purchase from us. All you have to do is pick up the phone and give us a call. If you need more information on the 782 or any other machine, we'll be glad to compare it for you and help you in any way we can. We hope to hear from you soon.